running black-owned investment firms in the country. Speaking recently at Bloomberg Invest, Rogers says investors might be underestimating the aftershocks of President Trump's global tariffs getting struck down.
I think that ultimately the courts are going to decide that because the tariffs were illegal, that companies are going to have to be paid back the tariffs that they've already paid. And I think that flood of money coming into the corporate coffers of major American businesses and smaller businesses throughout the United States will be a real tailwind that people really haven't factored in.
What happens next with trade policy is one of the many open questions investors are facing. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
During Lowe's Pro Savings Days, the job works in your favor. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members buy more and save more on materials they rely on every day. Get up to 25% off select molding when you spend $1,000 or more, and up to 25% off Pergo Evercraft laminate flooring. Put Pro Savings Days to work for you. Members get more at Lowe's. Valid through 3/27. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowes.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping. Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. If I had a superpower, it would be to predict the future. Because then I would know who to bet on. I would know what lottery numbers to pick. And I also could prepare for what is currently unknown. I think the best way to predict the future, even though it's not 100% accurate, is to look at the past. It oftentimes can be your best predictor or indicator of the future. And there are some patterns that just continue to replicate. Even if we as a public experiment with different things and we try different things, the patterns just seem to be the same. There might be something that is almost universally understood by the public. And we would expect those people that are in public office to respond to the easy win. The easy win is that 90% of people in this country, and maybe it's 100%, who knows, believe that there needs to be a little bit more strict regulation on who can obtain a gun. And for good reason, yet it seems that there is not universal agreement amongst the elected officials and the political parties. So even if we want something universally, you can reliably understand that Republicans are not going to vote for or support or author any legislation that curtails the ability of certain people to get firearms. So when it comes to predicting the future, if there happens to be a mass shooting, first thing you're going to hear a Republican spokesperson say is that we're not going to take away your guns. This was this one individual person's fault. So that is a way in which we can reliably predict the future, because one political party just seems to ignore public outcry and public sentiment, particularly when it comes to guns. So that's just one example of how we may want something, but we can predict the future outcome not being in our favor. Here's something else we can reliably predict, because the past oftentimes is a great indicator of the future. The evidence we've seen over the past couple of weeks and months, over these cold weather, winter months notwithstanding, we've seen a pretty significant, consistent level of violence in the community. And usually when it's cold outside, here in the city of Milwaukee, where I live and where I am broadcasting from, we get a bit of a reprieve from gun violence and homicides. A little bit. It's still a relatively consistent thing, but we know for absolute certain, and it's not just here, it's all over the country. As we dig deeper into the warm weather months and start settling into summer, we know that violence goes up, violence of all kinds. And there is some psychological effect to that when the weather gets warmer. And we know it is going to happen. We talk about it every single year, and we talk about it in the winter and the spring. The weather is getting warmer. There's going to be more violence. We also can predict reliably, this is based on our past experience, we can reliably predict that we're going to need to call the police. And hopefully not for a violent incident. Maybe it's a little fender bender, a little car accident. Maybe you're calling the police, the non-emergency number, because there has been a strange vehicle parked in front of your house for a couple of days, or maybe you see something that looks out of place in your neighborhood and you call the police. But we know that we are going to have to call the police. Maybe not you individually, maybe somebody on your block, maybe your neighbor, maybe your friend or a family member will have to rely on the police for something, and that's why they are there, to answer our calls, to provide public service, etc. And because we know that we are going to need them, and as the summer approaches and the weather gets warmer, our reliance on them probably will increase. And this is me just predicting the future based upon the past. Now, again, the past is not always the most reliable guide in predicting the future, but in the city of Milwaukee, a town in which I am fairly familiar, this seems to be very consistent. So if I placed a bet, I would say that the incidence of violence in this summer, upcoming summer of 2026, without me having any additional information about poverty and about transients and homelessness, because homeless people, contrary to popular opinion, are much more likely to be victims of crime, meaning if you have more homeless, you are likely going to have more vulnerable people and more victims. We seem to think that the homeless people commit all the crimes. Being unhoused is not criminal. Well, it shouldn't be anyway. So if we know that we're going to need more police officers, a couple of things comes to mind. Why are we encouraging our young people to be police officers? Because don't we want to live in safe communities? And don't we want to encourage people that have an understanding of people and family and community? Maybe they grew up in the cities north side, and they see the dynamic. So if they were a law enforcement officer, they would have a much more well-rounded perception of people, of families, etc. When there's a call for service on the north side of the city of Milwaukee, maybe on 27th and Locust, maybe on 35th and the Burleigh, I'm not sure, but maybe somewhere over in that area, maybe that police officer who grew up in that neighborhood or familiar with that neighborhood might be able to respond to the call a little bit differently because maybe they know the perpetrator, maybe they know the suspect, maybe they know the victim. But we are not, for whatever reason, I'm not putting additional pressure on members of our community to encourage their children and their grandchildren and their friends and their families to be cops, but we know we're going to need them because this is a reliable prediction. As I'm reading the news, the headlines, and I'm very limited in what I choose as a source. I look at all the local sources, of course, but when it comes to some of the national stuff, I tend to shy away from some of that because a lot of it is propagandized. But when it comes to the local things, because some of this stuff it's honest, because you can't really lie to Milwaukee people about Milwaukee stuff. There's an article that I found, and it's an interesting one, because remember just a minute ago, I was talking about these reliable predictions, and we know that when the weather gets warmer, the violence tends to tick up, and we may need to call the police. I'm sure some of you have called the police. Some of you have had the police called on you. Side note on that. I have this neighbor. We don't get along so good. I wouldn't quite call us the Hatfields and the McCoys, but we're not friendly. My neighbor, and I don't want to divulge too much information about my neighbor because they might be listening. And if they are, screw you. They have a very large dog, 150 pound if it's a single pound at all, a female bull mastiff, not a small dog, very territorial dogs. And my neighbor thinks it's funny and thinks it's cute to allow their dog to roam around off leash. Not good. You're not supposed to do that. It's very illegal. And they also allow their dog, and I say they allow it because the owner of a dog needs to have full and complete control over that dog. You're responsible for your dog's behavior. So if your dog bites someone, I think if a dog bites a human being, you put it to sleep. You do. If a dog bites a kid, if a dog is running around off leash, and it's crazy because these dog owners will be like, but he didn't mean it. He's just a baby. He weighs 150 pounds. Admit that's a very fat baby. So my neighbors thinks it's cute to let their dog run around off leash. And on the side of my house closest to my neighbor's property, there are little piles of love they used to leave. And so what I would do is I did have a conversation with the neighbor. I was like, hey, you can't do this. And then that turned into an argument. If I had people visit my house, if an Amazon driver was dropping something off or if somebody was coming to visit me and they came to the front door, my dog would chase people, or their dog rather would chase people that were in my property. I didn't like that. There was a couple of times where I thought I had to take decisive action because I don't know if this dog is going to bite somebody coming to my house, and that's a bad look. And that would be me defending people coming to visit my property. Okay? So we had a conversation. It didn't go well, and I figured that if they wouldn't respond to me, they'd respond to Milwaukee's finest. Now, I do remember having to call the police because, like, 3 times in one day, the dog chased the mailman, an Amazon delivery driver, and a friend that came to visit. I'm like, I've had enough of this. And if they won't listen to me, they're going to listen to Milwaukee's finest. So I called them. And you would think with something like that, because it's not particularly an emergency because the dog didn't bite anybody. When I say the police came in 90 seconds, I was like, what? I'm not even ready for you guys to be here yet. So I'm looking out the window. I'm that neighbor peeking through the blinds. Oh, ooh, the police is there. Okay. And I see the exchange between the police and the neighbor. And you can tell the neighbor is very upset because she knows I called the people. Okay. I come to find out that she received a warning. And if there was another call, that there would be a citation that would be issued. So no citation was issued that first time. And here's what's crazy. When they saw because they were sitting outside. The neighbor and the neighbor's sister were sitting outside. They saw the squad car coming down the street. They immediately put the dog in the house. I'm like, oh, no. You got the dog outside off leash any other time, but you see them people coming. Now you want to put the 150-pound bull mastiff in the house. Okay. Because I really wanted, this is what I wanted. I wanted the squad to pull up. I wanted them to see the dog off leash, and I wanted the dog to chase the cops, because you know how that ends, right? Problem solved. A cop is not going to waste very much time. If a 150-pound off-leash bull mastiff is chasing them, well, then I would have no more complaints. However, I digress. So on the side of my house, my grass is yellow because the dog is relieving itself in my yard on my property. All right? So after that exchange, the police come and go. So coffee grounds, I don't know if you guys know this, helps to regrow grass. And it helps to regreen grass that has been yellowed by pet urine. And so I drink coffee. And so I put coffee grounds. Like, I don't have much of a yard, but damn it, the yard that I have, I want the grass to be green now. I like the curb appeal of my house. So I put coffee grounds, hoping that the neighbor got the message. The police were called. They got to keep their dog on leash. I also remarked to the police when I made my complaint that their dog is routinely roaming around in my yard, relieving itself in my yard, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that stuff has been documented. And I did that in case a situation came up where I had to defend myself or someone coming to visit me. I wanted it on the record that this dog would roam around off leash and it would terrorize people in a 2 or 3 house vicinity of where we live. So I'm thinking that the problem is solved. So I put coffee grounds on the little yellow patches on the side of my house. Don't worry, I'm going to get back to the police. I'm also going to explain the title of today's show, because if you're looking at the YouTube, it ain't going to make no sense to you, but don't worry, it will. I was at home one night, so maybe a couple of days after I placed the coffee grounds on the side of my house to green up the grass that had been yellow. And I actually posted a picture of this. It was just little yellow pock marks all over the side of my house. It's disgusting. And even more infuriating because my neighbor does not respect my property. And I don't bother nobody. You understand me? I go home. I keep to myself. I'm very friendly. I say hi to people. Some of my neighbors know who I am. They call me the radio man. They know I'm the political man. Some of my neighbors, because I've been in my house for 22 years, some of my neighbors know, oh, if Mr. Radio Man has political yard signs in his yard, then it's time to vote. And sometimes I'll be outside and the neighbors are outside. We're cutting the grass or we're cleaning up our yard. Hey, Mr. Radio Man, it's voting time. That's what my neighbors say. It's time to vote. Yeah, it is. It's time to vote. Okay, should I vote for the people whose signs you got? This is the real conversation I have with my neighbors several times a year. That's who I'm supposed to vote for, Mr. Radio Man? If you so choose. I would prefer you do your own research, but if not, my yard is a good indicator with the signs I display. So I just stay out of people's business because I really don't care. As long as y'all are keeping quiet and not messing stuff up and not inviting thugs and bad actors into the neighborhood, I don't care what you do. You can walk around naked. I walk around naked. I can't remember the last time I was fully dressed getting my mail. Because I don't care. I'm in the house. Because my mailbox, if I open my front door, my mailbox is just an arm's reach away from the front door. And I have a glass. It's got these like louvers, these glass, like vertical, horizontal glass. You can, if I'm standing in the door, you can see my stuff. And I don't wear a lot of clothes at home. For what? I live by myself. So I don't care what people do, and I got my blinds be open. So if I'm walking around, congratulations to you. You just got a show. What, I'm a cover up in my own house? If you happen to be walking past, well, then that's your lucky day. Go play the lottery. Might win the lottery and you saw my junk. So I don't care what people do. But if you're impacting somebody else's quality of life, I got an issue with that. So I put the coffee grounds on the side of my house where the little yellow patches were. I'm at home one night, and it's late. It's maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll take the Ring camera. It's a cop at my house. I had no idea. I didn't do nothing. I ain't talked to nobody. I ain't committing no crimes. But whenever you see a cop on your Ring camera, you start thinking, don't you? Like, oh, what did I do? Damn it. So I answered the door with as much attitude as I can muster. Can I help you, please? And it was a little petite Hispanic lady cop. I was like, this is ridiculous. Nobody's scared of her. And here's what she asked me. She said, did you try to kill your neighbor's dogs? The first thing she said to me. And I was like, what? I took a double take. I was like, what? Hold on now. Say it again. Because remember, my Ring camera is recording this. I want all of this recorded. I said, can you repeat that? Did you try to kill your neighbor's dog? And I said, if I would have tried to kill my neighbor's dog, my neighbor would not have an alive dog. Probably not the smartest thing to say, but I was offended. So apparently coffee grounds are poisonous to dogs. And my neighbor thought, because I'm trying to regrow my grass that my neighbor's dog peed on and killed, she thought that I was trying to poison her dog. And I said to the cop, I said, look, because the cop said, oh, you put coffee grounds in the yard. I said, it's my goddamn yard. I will put coffee grounds in my yard. Maybe that means that my neighbor, and if you check your record, Miss Small, petite Latina police officer, I have called the police on this neighbor because they let their dog roam off leash. And if you go and check the record, there actually is a warning that they were issued. And the cop had the nerve to ask me again. She tried to get me to admit that I tried to kill my neighbor's dog, and I said the exact same thing. That dog has no business on property other than property that is owned by my neighbor, and that dog has destroyed my property, and I am remedying my property, meaning if I put coffee grounds on my property and that dog gets poisoned, I have zero liability because they need to keep their dog on leash. It should be noted that my neighbor and her sister are also Latinas. So they called I don't know how this even worked out, because in the neighborhood we live in, it ain't no Hispanics, especially Hispanic cops on the north side. So they must have had a friend on the police force. So I said all that to say this. It's reliable that we may have to utilize police services. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. The Milwaukee Police Department recruits keep failing fitness tests, and it appears that there is a request to lower the fitness standards for Milwaukee police officers because the people that are applying to the academy are too fat to pass what is probably one of the weakest fitness tests in the entire country. And I also want to give you some additional information that when police officers are allowed to get their badges and they're allowed to be police officers, the less physically fit they are, the higher the likelihood they will use excessive force. Oh, we're going to talk about it today. Also got the results of the Marquette University Law School poll, where Francesca Hong is actually moving deeper into her lead against Mandela Barnes, and she is, in fact, a Democratic Socialist. Our YouTube question of the day, because I have an inquisitive temperament. Would you vote for a Democratic Socialist? Because it looks like the possibility of a Democratic Socialist being the nominee here in Wisconsin could be a reality. And also, I got some questions that I want to ask you all about morality. The Pew Research Center did a big old survey of Americans and asked them what is and is not immoral. And there's also a partisan breakdown. Do you think it's immoral to be gay? Do you think it's immoral to get divorced? Do you think it's immoral to cheat on your partner or your spouse? I'll have all of those answers later on in the program. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship, because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
As the White House threatens to take over state elections, restrict abortion nationwide, and take away our health care, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is the last line of defense for our rights. That's why the Supreme Court election on April 7th is so critical. The ACLU does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to make an informed decision. When it comes to abortion rights, Maria Lazar supported overturning Roe v. Wade and is endorsed by groups that want to ban abortion. Chris Taylor voted against abortion bans and defended abortion rights while working with Planned Parenthood. And on the issue of voting rights in Wisconsin, Maria Lazar defended efforts to rig elections for one political party through extreme gerrymandering of congressional and legislative districts. Chris Taylor opposes rigging the system with extreme partisan gerrymandering. On April 7th, Stand Up for Our Rights. Paid for by American Civil Liberties Union, Incorporated.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I am not sure if we are doing the public any favors if we are relaxing or reducing fitness standards for Milwaukee police officers. And listen, I'm no petite shrinking violet. You know what I mean? I got some heft. Back in the day we used to say big boned. I'm a husky. So I'm not right now in the best shape of my life, but don't worry about me. Summer body loading. But I would expect people who are charged with protecting the public to have a minimum amount of physical fitness, because if somebody commits a crime, and we don't like crimes being committed, and the police have this individual in eyesight, I want the officer to be able to give chase to this individual, because one of the worst things that can happen, and we hear about this frequently, and this is why I've got feelings about the no chase policy, but then they change it. Sometimes you can chase a suspect, sometimes you can't chase a suspect. If it's a felony warrant, you can chase, but if it goes through a crowded residential neighborhood, then you can't chase. The issue that I have with this, and maybe it's specific to me, if someone committed a crime and we have evidence and information that they are about to commit another one, I want that individual apprehended, but you have to be able to do so safely, even though if someone, an innocent person, gets injured during a police chase, it's the perpetrator's fault. So if somebody commits a crime and we have information and evidence that they're about to commit another one, like they just killed somebody and now they're on the way to kill their second person, sometimes they call the chases off for safety reasons, but then if that second homicide takes place, that really makes us very, very angry, because we had information and evidence that that person was on their way to commit another crime. The police didn't chase them, and now you have two people dead. So I want, whether it be in the vehicle or whether it be on foot, I want suspects to be pursued in hopes that they do not commit a secondary crime. Sometimes those chases are on foot. Here's the thing. I shouldn't be judgmental because I'm not exactly skinny. I'm also not a police officer, nor am I applying to be one. Well, because I'm too old. I'm trying to think of which job I would be worse at. And don't say radio host. Would I be a worse teacher, like a high school teacher, or would I be a worse police officer? Because I would. Sometimes when I'm driving around the city, going to meetings and running my errands and whatnot, I just see all of the vehicles that I would personally pull over if I was a police officer. I see the suspicious people and people that have no license plate, people whose headlights are out, people that are speeding and bobbing and weaving and running and rolling stop signs. I would be such a terrible cop. I really would, because I just wouldn't tolerate these little foolish behaviors that people think they can get away with. That being said, I was running my little errands yesterday, had a little meeting I had to go to, and I look up and I see Wauwatosa's finest. I was on Center Street, about 76th and Center. You know, that's just where Wauwatosa starts, right over there on 76th and Center. I'm not thinking about nothing. I'm on my way home now. I see Wauwatosa's finest because they got them black SUVs with that red striping on the side, says police in white. And I was like, uh-oh, this cop is trying to catch him a speeder. I looked down, I was going 40 and a 30. I was like, damn. He didn't get me, though. I'm thinking to myself, Mr. Officer, you're not doing your job, because I'd have pulled my ass over in a jiffy. But Whatever. I'd be a terrible police officer. But I am not one. I've never had a desire to be one, but we need them. And I think if we relax fitness standards, which is what is being proposed right now, it may put all of us at additional risk of excessive force. And I got details to back it up from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. What's required of Milwaukee Police Department recruits to pass the physical exam, a mandatory step to enter the police academy, is not a secret. Requirements are detailed in recruit guidelines on the Fire and Police Commission website. Now get this now. I'm going to tell you what the fitness requirements are. 18 push-ups. Not in a minute. Just 18. So does that mean on day 1 I can do 4 push-ups? Day 2 I can do 2 more? Day 3 I can do 5 more? 18 push-ups, 24 sit-ups, and a 1.5 mile run in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. That is not impeccable physical shape. It is not. The hardest part might be a 1.5 mile run in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. That is not a very fast pace, ladies and gentlemen. That is, what is that? 3 miles an hour, if that? Yet despite the listed requirements, roughly 25% of all recruits and a staggering percentage of female recruits, 85% in recent classes, failed to pass the physical exam required upon entrance to police academy. Now listen, I don't want to get into the whole battle of the sexes thing. If a police officer of any gender, and there's a bunch of genders, if they can't do 18 push-ups, if they can't do 24 sit-ups. Now remember, this is not timed. You just got to do 18 push-ups. Hell, I can do 18 push-ups. You know what? Xavier, should I do 18 push-ups? Can the camera get me if I'm laying on the floor?
I don't think we can get you from that angle.
Oh, darn, because I sure enough would have did it.
You can do push-ups on the wall.
That ain't the same. I could do 50 of them. If a recruit can't do 18 push-ups, 24 sit-ups, and run 1.5 miles in 20 minutes, let's say 85% of women recruits can't meet that basic fitness requirement, that they're not going, then they will not be able to restrain a suspect that is my size or bigger. And I'm not saying that women can't do stuff, but when it comes to strength stuff, because you got to be strong to be able to, because I'm not going to be easy to arrest, okay? If a little dainty cop, like the little Latina cop that came to my door when my neighbors called the police on me because my neighbors accused me of trying to kill their dog, I'm thinking to myself, if it came down to it, if she took off that badge and that gun, I'd kick this little Latina cop's ass. Now, I would never do that. Relax, everybody. Calm down. But I know she ain't passed the fitness exam, and she was a little rotund. She looked like a little torta. She did. Take a break, come back, talk about how can you even reduce the fitness standards to lower than this? But we have to, otherwise we are not going to be able to have the legally required number of police officers. Because remember, the city of Milwaukee, under Act 12, by state law, we have to have a minimum number of police officers. And so if they have to reduce the physical fitness standards so we can be in accordance of state law, but how does that bode well for public safety if you got cops that can't do 18 push-ups, 24 sit-ups, and run 1.5 miles in 20 minutes and 20 seconds? Let's talk about it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The legendary Broadway show is back. The Wiz. The Chicago Sun-Times raves. It's an eye-popping, high-intensity revival. The music, the voices, the legend returns. Entertainment Weekly says, run, don't ease on down to this spectacular revival. The Wiz. Playing the Marcus Center, March 24th through 29th. Tickets at marcuscenter.org.
Milwaukee, this is the night you don't want to miss. Thanalysis Live is back, March 27th at the Riverside Theater in downtown Milwaukee. You never know who's going to step on stage. Thanalysis has shocked the crowd in past years with surprise appearances by Giannis and Stephen A. Smith. This year, Ric Flair headlines Thanalysis Live. The WWE legend, the Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy. You know there will be plenty of surprises. Friday night, March 27th at the Riverside Theater. Lock in your tickets now. TALiveshow.com. That's TALiveshow.com.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Requirements are detailed in recruit guidelines for the Fire and Police Commission on the Fire and Police Commission's website. The physical requirements are: you have to be able to do 18 push-ups, 24 sit-ups, and a 1.5-mile run in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. And you would think if somebody is applying to the academy that they would start their physical fitness regimen ahead of time so that they can meet and exceed these standards, because these are very basic, minimal standards. And I'm not sure if the physical standards have to be maintained, right? So as long as you pass whatever this physical fitness portion is during the recruiting process, do they test you again in a year? Do they test you again in 5 years? Quote, once an applicant starts our testing process, the physical fitness test is the largest single point of failure set in a draft of a letter the commission intends to send to the state board. Those failing numbers is prompting the city's recruitment body, the Fire and Police Commission, to seek a first-of-its-kind request. Commission members voted March 19th to ask the Wisconsin's Law Enforcement Standards Board to give Milwaukee a one-year waiver of the physical fitness requirement for entry into the police academy. Let me tell you something. Some of these YNs is in real good shape. They're slender. There's a build to a YN. I don't see a lot of fat YNs. YNs could exceed these physical fitness standards. And plus, a YN is not easy to cuff. They have much experience of evading. They have many evasive maneuvers. Some YNs would be very good football and basketball players. They're athletes. They just didn't go to school enough to play on the team. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want us to be abundantly clear, because as the summer approaches and calls for service will likely increase to the police department for a variety of different things, if we have police officers that cannot meet these basic fitness requirements, how are we going to be made to feel safer? These are real basic requirements. And it's not even that the Fire and Police Commission are asking to relax. Okay, 20 push-ups or 20 sit-ups instead of 24, 15 push-ups instead of 18. They're asking that they be waived, meaning no basic minimum physical fitness standards to be a police officer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a regular job. It really isn't. It can be, I should say, physically demanding, and we want them. This is why we pay them the money that they pay them. And cops make a fair amount of money. They make $45,000 to start. Some of them $80,000, $90,000. They got great pensions. Now you also are risking your life. But we compensate them, and they're pensioned for the rest of their lives. I think you can retire, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, someone will correct me. 25 years and you can retire. I think the minimum age is 20 to be a police officer. All you need is a GED. You don't even need a high school diploma. A GED, high school diploma, and be the age of 20. Pass the physical fitness standard. And obviously there's a written test, I'm sure, and there's other things you got to get through, the other training parts. But you can be retired at 45 years old, meaning you could be receiving pension benefits, health insurance benefits, and salary benefits for longer than you were even a police officer. One of the reasons why we had to raise our sales taxes, a lot of folks don't know this, is because the pension system for police officers and other city workers is so good. It's so good that people are living longer than they actually worked and paid into the retirement system. And that's a drain on our resources, is it not? If you were a police officer from the age of 20 until 45 and you lived to be 85 years old, remember, you were only a cop for 25 years. You're pulling down pension and benefits for an additional 40 years? Those failing numbers is prompting the city's recruitment body, the Fire and Police Commission, to seek a first-of-its-kind request. Commission members voted on March 19th to ask the Wisconsin's Law Enforcement Standards Board to give Milwaukee a one-year waiver of the physical fitness requirements for entry to the police academy. Staff from the Wisconsin's Law Enforcement Standards Board did not immediately respond to a Journal Sentinel request for comment. Currently, the exam is graded on a pass-fail basis. If the waiver is granted, recruits would be graded on a point scale for each part of the fitness test. Recruits who aggregate enough points would pass the exam. A required fitness exit exam administered at the end of the academy process would not be affected by this request. The requirements stiffen at this point. For instance, 23 push-ups and 30 sit-ups are required. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to give you an example of what other states require as far as physical fitness goes to be a law enforcement officer. And I want you all to see the difference. Now, remember, police officers that have lower levels of physical fitness are much more likely to use excessive force when apprehending and cuffing a suspect because they simply don't have the physical strength. They're more likely to tase and to shoot. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need the $100 hookup. This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the $100 hookup. And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavani's.com.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Currently, the standards to enter the academy to be a Milwaukee police officer is a recruit must complete, with no time limit, or at least none is stated, 18 push-ups, 24 sit-ups, and complete a 1.5-mile run in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. And because a large number of potential recruits are not meeting what seems to be a pretty lax set of physical fitness benchmarks, the Fire and Police Commission is asking this statewide board to waive those physical fitness requirements because as many as 85% of women recruits cannot meet those benchmarks. 25% of male recruits and a staggering percentage of female recruits at 85% in recent classes failed to pass the physical exam required upon entrance to the police academy. Let me give you some examples from a couple of states nearby. Indiana, there's a tactical obstacle course. Now, it doesn't define for me what the tactical obstacle course is. Now, imagine in the state of Indiana, they probably change it. Plus, if they made it publicly available, then I'd imagine recruits may be able to get an advantage. And I think that they're trying to test the raw physical fitness without someone knowing what the actual obstacle course is. But they do give times, okay? They give you two opportunities with the tactical obstacle course, which is one of the many things that you have to do to become a Indiana police officer. Your entry time has to be less than 4 minutes and 8 seconds. So the first time you take this Indiana state-sanctioned obstacle course, it's got to be 4:08 or less. And then at graduation, it's got to be 3:58 or less, meaning you have to improve your time by 10 seconds in order to graduate. Oh, they do have some details. Here we go. The course includes sprinting, direction changes, obstacle navigation, and simulated job tasks. Narrow time margin for passing, designed around real policeman movement patterns. That is in Indiana. Let's look at our friends down south in Illinois. In Illinois, you got to do that same 1.5 mile run in 13 minutes and 46 seconds. In Milwaukee, you have to do that 1.5 mile run in 20 minutes. You got to run 7 minutes faster in Illinois than you do to be a cop in Wisconsin, specifically in Milwaukee. I mean, you ain't outrunning no Illinois cop. Oh, Sarge, we got a 22-14. We got a runner. Don't worry. I've hit my stride. I'll catch him in the next 1.25 miles. Because that's what you sound like when you're running. I got this little spit coming out your mouth. Sit-ups. Let me make sure I got the comparison. See, I got these on 2 different pages. To be a Milwaukee police officer or a cop anywhere in Wisconsin, you have to do 24 sit-ups. No time limit. In Illinois, you have to do 37 sit-ups in a minute. Think about this now. You have to bench press 98% of your body weight to be an Illinois police officer. If you weigh 200 pounds, you have to bench press 196, right?
That's easy.
No, it ain't. If you weigh 300 pounds, you'd have to bench press like 284 or something. The heavier you get, the harder it is. So what's a decent, meaty cop size? 250. So if you weigh 250 pounds, you got to bench like 240. Give or take, 245. Then there's a sit and reach flexibility test, which has to be greater than 16 inches. Don't even know what that is. Key factors. Illinois is one of the few states requiring near body weight bench press and a high emphasis on total body strength, not just endurance. Let's see what California does. Timed obstacle course, including a 99-yard obstacle course with walls, windows, and stairs. You have to do a 165-pound dummy drag. You have a 6-foot chain link climb and a solid wall climb, and you have to run 500 yards. Typical passing time is less than 5 minutes and 30 seconds, but it varies by California Municipal Academy. In California, they emphasize functional strength plus agility under fatigue, more realistic than traditional physical training tests. But doesn't this make sense that they want you, at least when you start, when you are a recruit or when you're getting through the academy, you got to pass these basic yet real-world scenarios? Because I don't know if y'all know this, sometimes suspects run and sometimes suspects are strong and have muscles. And they are trying to waive the physical fitness requirements. And it's temporary. It's not permanent. But I have a feeling, because here's the thing, the police union is really, really strong in this state. And one of the ways the police union gets stronger is obviously by having more police officers and having more members. But when you have a state law that requires the largest city, the largest municipality, which is Milwaukee, to have a minimum number of cops. And I don't know how many sworn officers we have right now, but we have not yet met our 1,650 officers that we have to have by law. Meaning, if we have 1,649 officers, we are out of compliance with state law and we will lose our shared revenue. Do you know what that means, y'all? That if we don't have the minimum number of police officers required by law, required by Act 12, we might lose money to plow snow and to pick up garbage. They will take our shared revenue away. So this is not a joke here. And they're looking at removing temporarily the physical fitness standards to be a Milwaukee police officer. But I have a feeling what could be like a 1-year waiver could be a 2-year waiver, a 3-year waiver. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of cops that look like me. Yes, Sarge, we got the suspect is running. I got a donut in my hand. I can't get out of the squad. I'll just shoot him. Officer Hughes, you are not permitted to shoot. Well, they're going to get away. They were speeding and weren't wearing a seatbelt. I can't let them get away. Or I'll just do what a lot of y'all suggest. Can't you just shoot him in the leg? Have y'all ever seen real videos of people getting shot before? Have you seen people being shot center mass and still coming after a police officer and still shooting? I don't think y'all quite understand that if somebody is a threat, this is probably a conversation we should have with a police officer. Oh, we have Dr. Ken. He's our resident cop. Dr. Ken, you listening? call in. Sometimes Dr. Ken listens and he texts my cell phone while I'm on the air. You have to stop the threat, because imagine if like a mother and her children are being threatened by someone with a gun, a man with a gun, and the cop comes up to the scene and says, well, I don't want to kill the person. And the cop shoots the person, the suspect who's holding hostage a woman and her children. The cop shoots the person in the leg, just to injure them. And then the suspect blows the kid's brains out and shoots the woman. Then y'all will be mad, why didn't you stop the threat? Well, the public wanted you to shoot him in the leg. California, a timed obstacle course including a 99-yard obstacle course, which includes walls, windows, and stairs. They have to drag a 165-pound dummy, and there's a 6-foot chain link climb plus a solid wall climb and an additional 500-yard run, and they've got to do all of that in less than 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Where in the city of Milwaukee, you have to do no time limit, 18 push-ups, 24 sit-ups, and a 1.5-mile run in 20 minutes and 20 seconds. How about New Jersey? New Jersey says you got to do their 1.5-mile run in 15 minutes and 55 seconds, which is a full 5 minutes faster than what's required in Wisconsin. New Jersey, you have to do a 300-meter sprint in less than 70.1 seconds. In New Jersey, you have to do minimum 24 push-ups, minimum 28 sit-ups, and have to have a vertical jump of 15 inches. Well. First of all, 15 inches is not a lot of jumping. But you know what they say about white men? No, not that. They say white men can't jump. No, I didn't say it. It's the name of a movie. I completed every part of the obstacle course, Sarge, but I just can't jump 15 inches. I have nothing that's 15 inches, Sarge. I can't produce 15 inches no matter what. I can't. Massachusetts has the toughest physical fitness test in the country compared to Milwaukee, which has the damn easiest. In Massachusetts, they have to do a 1.5-mile run in 12 minutes and 38 seconds or less. In Massachusetts, they got to do 40 push-ups in a minute. They got to do 45 sit-ups in a minute. They have to do a 300-meter sprint in between 52 and 56 seconds, and they got to have a vertical jump of 17 inches. Must meet all categories, not just pass-fail, and the scoring system penalizes weakness in any one area. Ladies and gentlemen, we are doomed because we're going to have a bunch of fat cops. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Coming with straight truth.
Did you go along with this? Did you plot this out? Did you go into the store with the intentions of causing a negative situation? This is the part that people don't like once they get into court after they get caught. Now, should he be executed for killing somebody he didn't do? I don't think so. He's already serving life. He's going to die in prison. I think that's what's going to happen. At the same time, this is a message to the younger folks.
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
A message from Tia Mowry, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged. It's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can save lives. As families and friends gather for the big game, we see what community looks like. It's one built on awareness, care, and love in action. Because readiness doesn't take away the risk. It brings back the joy. When you're ready to act, you're ready to live.
Visit foodallergy.org/ready to act to learn more.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. If you haven't done so, download the free 1017 The Truth app. You can stream all our shows and whatnot. Also, make sure you subscribe to the 1017 The Truth YouTube channel by searching 1017 The Truth by going to youtube.com or opening up your YouTube app on your phone or your tablet or smart device, smartphone, dumb phone, whatever you got. Search 1017 The Truth, hit subscribe. You'll be able to participate in our poll and chat amongst our faithful and view live streams and previously run programs that you may have missed. B. Bruce says via the YouTube chat, oh, well, this is encouraging. When I was in law enforcement, we always did the chokeholds like Bounty Hunter and put our perpetrators to sleep. You're not supposed to do that. Well, depends on when you were in law enforcement. You could do a little choking. I mean, what if somebody just doesn't want to comply? You know, sometimes you got to get that neck. Be careful though. I'm not telling anybody. Plus, if you're a police officer, do not listen to me on how to do your job. Seriously. But if you're losing control of a dangerous suspect, and what if they're armed and you haven't disarmed them yet? You mean you can do everything but a little choking? What if the choke is what you need? Not till they die, but just till they get a little sleepy. But you got to be careful because, and again, I'm not encouraging cops to be violent, but some perpetrators are real violent. I watched some of the body cam videos. They have whole YouTube channels. Oh, they're so good. I think we need to spend time watching these. It's whole YouTube channels where it's just body camera footage of arrests. And you know who the worst are? Women. And I don't want to stereotype. But white women are bad too. I know my rights. Ma'am, get out of the vehicle. Ma'am, you've been drinking. I don't have to do anything. Boom, that cop breaks that window and snatches her out. Now she's screaming like she's being, you can't do this to me. Then they try to run away, and it is something else. If you watch some of these videos on how the public acts, but here's the crazy thing. I want your name and your badge number. I'm going to sue you guys. Yeah, you just ran 3 stoplights and hit a parked car. The cop tried to pull you over and you fled for 2 miles until you hit a tree. You can't pull me out of the vehicle. I don't have to identify myself. I know my rights. With all this internet and research we have literally available at our fingertips 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nobody knows their rights. You are required, ladies and gentlemen, as much as you may not want to provide your identification, a valid driver's license, your registration. Well, in Wisconsin, our registration is actually our plates. So in certain states, registration is a separate document you have to provide, but you do have to provide proof of insurance in the state of Wisconsin. You have to by law, and if you don't, they will tow your vehicle. And I tell people it ain't worth it. And the unfortunate thing is if you can't afford car insurance, you cannot afford to drive on Wisconsin public roads. But you should want insurance. Maybe that means you get a less expensive vehicle so you can afford the insurance because you don't want to be coming out of pocket for God knows how long because of the damage that you did with your vehicle. And sometimes it's a legitimate accident. You just hit stuff by accident. I try my damnedest not to hit anything, because I don't want to deal with having to repair my vehicle or have to pay the deductible or having my insurance go up. But I'm really glad I haven't. In fact, my insurance is going to be due in April. I got to pay that joker soon. LaRon says release the drones. Yeah, but a drone can just give you the direction of the suspect. A drone, unless you have a little grenade on it. Well, no, you can't do that either. Alfonso says Massachusetts is smart. They're not hiring lazy cops. Reggie says nothing like the smell of smoked German Shepherd. I don't even want to know what the hell that means. Police students with higher physical fitness scores, pull-ups, broad jump, bench press, and rowing perform significantly better in use of force and arrest simulation tests, showing stronger correlations via bivariate and regression analysis. So there was a scientific study that was done in Europe looking at the physical fitness and physical strength of a law enforcement officer versus them having to use excessive force to apprehend a suspect. And it's plain old simple common sense. The stronger and more in shape the law enforcement officer is, the less excessive force they are going to have to use, meaning using lethal and non-lethal means to subdue a suspect. Grip strength and other fitness metrics predict success in defensive tactics, marksmanship under stress, and reduced escalation risk. We don't even think about that. If you are winded and you have to discharge your service weapon, if you are way out of shape, that's going to impact your aim and you may miss. And if you miss with a bullet, you might kill a child. Legal cases such as Parker v. District of Columbia have held agencies liable for excessive force when lack of physical fitness prevented non-lethal control. Well, look at that now, because if we have out-of-shape cops, like, this needs to be examined a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen, because a police officer, and they're going to go and look at this police officer's record, how well do they perform in the physical fitness portion when they join the academy, and if it is illustrated that their physical fitness portion was waived and they used excessive force and they killed somebody, now that cop is liable, meaning we, the taxpayers, are going to have to pay out a death claim. Who is this online one? Thomas. All right. Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Sean.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Good.
Look, man, you really on to something. Now, I've probably got 10 years on you, but I remember back in 84 when you're talking about the cops for being in some shape. I was in there was a store. There used to be a store on 3rd and Center, across the street from the Courtesy Exchange. So I'm in there buying some beer or whatever else. And a police came in there, and he had mud on his shirt, mud on his pants. Obviously, he was chasing somebody because he came in there. He was hot. He had mud all on his clothes and stuff. And he's in the store looking around. So he started to ask people in there, did anybody come in there? And there was mostly brothers in there. And everybody was like, no, we just came in here. We just came in here. And he was trying to provoke one of us and because he was so mad, whoever he was chasing got away, and he must have fell or whatever else. But the cat was ready to, was trying to provoke one of us in the store while we waiting in line to buy our stuff, because he was mad because whoever he was chasing got away, and that cat was outraged, and he wanted to take it out on one of us. So you really on to something, and this happened way back in the middle 80s. So, yeah, you're right. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your call. You don't want to have a cop falling down in the mud. Poor physical fitness correlates with higher occupational injury rates during training and police operations, which can indirectly affect decision-making and force application. Training programs that incorporate fitness or procedural justice elements have shown to reduce use of force incidents by 6 to 11%. Fitness standards vary widely and are often set at department or academy level rather than uniformly by state. A 2025 survey of 49 states found only 4 states require ongoing fitness standards for active duty officers. 43 states, or 88% of America, do not. So there's a physical fitness test you have to pass to get your badge, but then they don't do ongoing fitness standards. I think that we should. Now, this is just me being practical, because we want our police officers to be in shape because they're going to use less excessive force. And also it helps prevent injury. And there are some situations, especially in rescue situations, where you need that police officer to be in his best physical shape as possible in order to be able to adequately help somebody. And I guess I don't know what we do when it comes to women officers, because we cannot excuse, reduce, relax, or eliminate physical fitness requirements because it's a lady. You just can't be a cop. You can't, come on now. You can't be. If you can't drag me out of a burning building, well, firefighters I'm not worried about. They're strong. I told y'all when the EMTs had to come in the studio and save me that day, these white boys' muscles were rippling. Because I looked up at them because I passed out. I looked up, I was like, oh, man, I'm in the wrong heaven. But while I'm here, I might as well. Sherwin, are you with us? Come on, buddy, hang in there. I was like, I'm fine. How are you? I'm kidding. Relax, everybody. I did wake up and did not know what the hell was going on. Then the HR lady was like right, because I passed out a couple of times. The first time I remember coming to, I was still sitting in this seat I'm sitting in right now, and then our HR lady, Lisa, was like an inch away from my face. She was trying to talk to me. And I didn't know what was going on. I was like, damn, why would you fire me now? Because usually if the HR lady is in your face, you're cooked. But she's like, oh, Sherwin, are you okay? I was like, I'm not sure. Why am I getting fired? Then the next thing I remember is I was on the floor here in the studio, and that's when the big bulging muscles, the EMTs, Sherwin, we got you, pal. And they started removing my shirt. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to like this, but there's nothing I can do. Fitness standards vary widely and are often set at the department or academy level rather than uniformly by state. Only 4 states, or 8%, require ongoing fitness standards for active duty police officers. 43 states, or 88%, do not. Entry and exit testing are inconsistent. Fewer than half of states mandate age and gender neutral statewide academy tests. Pennsylvania, due to Act 37, which went into effect December of 2023, entry fitness standards for Philadelphia police academies lowered from the 30th to the 15th percentile on tests including the 1.5-mile run, the 300-meter sprint, push-ups, and sit-ups. Graduation still requires the 30th percentile. Applicant pass rates range from 35 to 48% with no reported failures in incremental academy testing to date. This change is temporary, only 5 years, and does not apply statewide outside of Philadelphia. Other states and departments have adjusted their standards. Some gender or age normed tests or elimination of certain physical fitness components, but comprehensive lists are limited. Broader trends more commonly involve lowered education requirements rather than fitness. Hang on a second. Lower education requirements rather than physical fitness. So you will allow someone with less education in lieu of the high physical fitness standards. I don't know if I really like that either, because you do not want an uneducated police officer for a variety of reasons, because, hell, they may not know the law themselves. And if they are ignorant, the likelihood that they will have additional racial and cultural bias is also sky high. And I want our police officers to have college degrees and then pay them accordingly. I want them to have to take and pass college-level exams on culture, race, ethnicity, all of that stuff, so they can have an academic background on some of the people and some of the social systems that are at play. That's not too much to ask. There's not, and quite honestly, when it comes to the foundation of a society, I don't know if there's anything more important, especially in emergency situations, because these are first responders, than having a law enforcement corps that is protective of its citizenry. We want people to be safe. We want bad guys to be arrested. I'm the first one to tell you, if somebody screws up, I'm not this whole soft on crime thing, because then when people know that they can get away with stuff with just a slap on the wrist, that's how you build a habitual offender. Judges play a responsibility in this too, because a lot of our judges on the circuit court don't even live in the neighborhoods and in the zip codes where a lot of the offenders and defendants come from. So when they say, oh no, we're not going to sentence this person, we're going to release them back into the community, the community that these judges are releasing these defendants back into is not the same community in which the judges live. The majority of our judges on the Milwaukee County Circuit Court live in the suburbs. But the majority of our defendants live in the city in a very narrow grouping. It's for violent crimes, a very narrow grouping of zip codes. But also, the public has got to be a little bit more aware of when we put pressure on the criminal justice system and call it racist writ large. You're sentencing people to too much jail time and you're too harsh, and it's very racist because the majority of the people are black. Do we ever think for a second the majority of the people that are committing the crimes, do you ever think just for a second now that the majority of the people that are committing crimes are black, and because we live in a segregated city, the majority of the victims are black too? Now, damn it, who deserves more justice now? The perpetrator that harms someone in our community, or the person that was actually victimized? 'Cause, you know, victims don't really get very much when it comes to restitution. They're just expected to be okay. We don't ever really talk about how bad victims have to suffer. It's always, oh, well, the defendant, he came from a broken home. So did the victim. Well, the defendant didn't have a job. So the victim. The victim has kids. The victim is a caretaker of their mother and their father and their children and their grandchildren. We don't give enough attention to victims. And that actually makes me very angry. So we have these judges that are obliging us to say, well, we don't want to sentence the black people to a long time in jail. Just release them into the community where people can offend again. Because I am just as fed up as you all are. I come into work every morning. I read the headlines. I read the news stories. 3 people shot, 5 people shot, 9 people got shot. And not even in like localized areas. It's downtown where people are going out, having a good time, where out of town folks are visiting. That harms the city of Milwaukee economically. Now, I'm not over here professing to have the answers, but I know it's a few things that we can get right now. If you commit a particular crime, especially a violent crime, this suspended sentence stuff, that's come on, y'all. The guy from the Waukesha Christmas parade was was on his way to jail, but before he went to jail, he killed 6 people in a parade. That made us look real bad. I think that incident, because I knew that the conservative voters and the elected officials that represent people in Waukesha, in the Wisconsin State Senate and the State Assembly, I knew they were going to seek revenge on all of Milwaukee for that. I knew it. They raised our sales taxes by 2.2%, and we have a minimum number of required police officers. And something else I think that may harm Milwaukee is if they waive the physical fitness requirements for our police officers. We have police officers that are out of shape. They won't be able to catch suspects, allowing the suspects to flee. And because they're out of shape and don't have the necessary strength, especially compared to other police departments, they might have to use excessive force. It might be just shooting and killing people. I mean, there's some things that we can do right, and I just don't think that we are pursuing the right approach here. If you can't pass basic but required physical fitness exams, you just can't be a cop. Go be like a third grade teacher. We need teachers. Teachers can make good money. And if you're sorry, ladies, like I want to hear from women on this. If we should not lower the physical fitness standards just so a woman can be a police officer. Because if you cannot save someone that weighs more than you, and if you don't possess a minimum level of strength and physical fitness, then what are we doing? You're not making anybody safe. You become a liability. Now, I don't know if this is sexist of me, but let's not pretend that everything is always fair and equal. Sometimes women just don't have the strength. Sometimes men don't. But women are physically smaller than men are and have less muscle mass. And there are certain jobs where you got to exhibit physical strength in order to make sure that the public is safe and protected. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
He was the entrepreneur. He was an icon in the Black community.
At Junior Achievement, students learn how innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship can turn a simple idea into something that changes an industry. With support from Cost Corporation, students are discovering how engineering, product design, and smart marketing bring great ideas to life. From pioneering studio headphones to building a brand recognized around the world, Cost shows students how technology and creativity shape the way we experience music. Learn more at ja.org.
You spend more than 2,500 hours a year on your mattress, so is your mattress working for you? It's time to upgrade your sleep game during Steinhoffel's Mattress Madness. Their sleep experts will match you with the perfect mattress so you can wake up rested, refreshed, and ready to take on the day. Shop all the top brands at unbeatable prices, plus enjoy free delivery and a 120-night sleep guarantee so you can rest easy knowing you made the right choice. Shop Mattress Madness in-store at steinhoffels.com today.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
If you've been injured, let our team help get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court election is less than 2 weeks away, and a new Marquette University Law School poll shows most Wisconsin voters still haven't made up their minds about who they'll vote for. However, Polling shows more people are paying attention to that race than they are the governor's race. And I got the details of the latest Marquette University Law School poll, where it shows the Democratic candidates for governor are being led by Francesca Hong. She is a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist. In primary elections, there is evidence that Wisconsin Democratic primary voters will vote for and will select a Democratic socialist. The example I have, while it's an old example, it's an example nonetheless. So Hillary Clinton never won the state of Wisconsin. She ran for president in 2008. There was a Democratic primary. She lost the state of Wisconsin to Barack Obama in 2008. In 2016, Hillary Clinton lost another Democratic primary to Bernie Sanders, a Democratic socialist. So I'm going to define for you what Democratic socialism is. It's not, it's a lot of public ownership of utilities and taxing wealthy people. And so an example would be, let's say we need a bunch of new housing units. Oh, speaking of which, I've come to find out via Al that Al posts in the Hughes Views 414 Facebook group when he posted a couple of videos expressing his disgust and disdain for low-income housing. But Al has been very consistent on how much he despises low-income housing. And at the Midtown area, the old Capitol Court, 60th between Nash and Capitol, that area over there, they are building low-income housing units. So if we had a democratic socialist system here in the city of Milwaukee, those housing units would be owned by the city of Milwaukee instead of a private investor like Barada. Now, you got to ask yourself this question. Now, Barada might be a bad example, or his tenants might be a bad example. We have to examine that one thoroughly. Who would you rather have be a landlord? City government or an individual entrepreneur? Both have pros and cons. Who would you rather have owning, say, utility companies? Private interests or local levels of government? Both can be corruptible. So Democratic Socialists, just like a real skeleton outline of it, there is more public instead of private ownership. Wealth is curtailed. Health insurance is free or easily obtained. The cost of education is greatly reduced. But we have a tax system that heavily favors people of lower incomes. It would support union membership and higher wages and living wages and a whole bunch of social programs that could potentially help people do a little bit better in a system that is dominated by the ultra wealthy. The difficulty with democratic socialism, and that's why I asked you guys the question via our YouTube channel, would you vote for a democratic socialist? Sometimes their policy ideas don't have any traction amongst the legislature. We have Democrats and we have Republicans in the state of Wisconsin in our legislature. We have Democrats, we have Republicans, and a handful of independents that either caucus with the Democrats or with the Republicans in Congress. If you are a Democratic Socialist executive, meaning a president, a governor, a county executive, or a mayor, your policy ideas will fall upon deaf ears because you are dealing with people of Republican Party affiliation or Democratic Party affiliation. And a lot of the Democratic Socialist policy ideas are very, very far left. I personally do not believe that Wisconsin voters, the large aggregate of us, almost 4 million people that vote in general elections, will vote for a Democratic Socialist, mostly because they don't quite understand it, but also what policies would actually get put into law if there are no corresponding Democratic Socialists in the legislature, because it's the legislature that has to pass the bill. They give it to the executive to sign. If the Democratic Socialist executive thinks the bill isn't far left enough, it doesn't help enough people, it doesn't reach down deeper into the depths of poverty, they simply won't sign it. Meaning, it'll be a wonderful thing. It might be a lightning rod in American politics to have a Democratic Socialist governor or mayor or county executive, but nothing would get done. And there are some people, and I've noticed this amongst Democrats, they will support someone that they just like. They can't win the election, but I sure do like them. And then at the end of the day, when the country is being run by an absolute madman because too many people voted for a candidate that they like versus one that can win, and we wonder why nothing gets done, because you can't expect the party that you didn't vote for, in this case, a lot of you did not vote for Donald Trump, you can't expect him to say, well, Kamala Harris had a lot of great policies for black people. Let me implement her policies because a lot of you liked her, so let me implement some of her policies so I can appease people that didn't vote for me. That'll never happen. Republicans fall in line, maybe a little bit too much because we're now a fascist state, but Democrats fall in love. I think a lot of people thought it was time for a woman to be president, and maybe it's past time for a woman to be president. Hell, I'd rather a woman be president than be a cop that can't pass a physical fitness exam, and I say that because I am heavy. Hi, Sherwin. I'm Officer Susan Smith. I'm here to drag you out of this burning car. Oh, you're so heavy. And now we're both dead. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being sexist here. We got to be realistic.
It's a bit sexist.
No, it's not. If a woman doesn't have the strength to rescue somebody, now they're both dead. She's a liability. But she's a woman, and we need a certain number of women on the police force. Okay, great. But let's not lower the standard. Okay, what if we need more doctors? But certain people can't pass the medical exam. Should we reduce the standards that you need to know to practice medicine so we can fill a quota, so we can have more diversity amongst doctors? I don't want you to know less to meet some arbitrary requirement. Now, of course, we can do better with how we provide education to people, and we know that there are some, schools that aren't as funded as others, and the education that people get are a little bit less. But you can't be a doctor, right? Imagine if I was a doctor. Oh, sure, we need more black male 51-year-old doctors. Here's your board certification. All I would do is just chat GPT everything. I'm like, hey, how are you? Dr. Hughes here. Good to see you. How you feeling? Oh, you got a stomach ache? Okay, so chat GPT says you're dying crazy style. Yeah, you're also fat. Oh, you said I'm fat too? Shut your mouth. I'm the doctor. I can be fat. Can't lower the standards, ladies and gentlemen, because, what does that do? It makes us feel good. Now, I don't know which direction we're going to go when it comes to voting for governor. I'm going to get into the details of the Marquette University Law School poll. There's also some questions that they asked respondents about the favorable rating of the Republican Party versus the Democratic Party. Asked Wisconsin voters, likely voters, how they feel about Donald Trump. Trump is not doing as bad in Wisconsin as you would think. His approval rating should be 0. It should be 0. It isn't 0. In fact, he's still hovering in the vicinity of 50%. So some people are, oh, he's okay. He's not that bad. What are you paying attention to? 1,000 paratroopers are on their way to Iran. They're going to drop these paratroopers in to a country surrounded by mountains. What if they need supplies? What happens when they run out of ammunition and food and water? Like, the decisions that are being made in this country, all I can do is it's no use of me reporting on it. All it's going to do is make you frustrated, and we can't do anything about it. I mean, we can do some voting in November, but he's just going to confiscate all the voting machines. You guys know the Department of Homeland Security and ICE is just hanging out at airports. Now we have TSA agents that are going to miss a second full paycheck. A lot of them are calling out sick. A lot of them are quitting, so that's explaining some of the lines that we have at airports. And Department of Homeland Security, they're just stationed at the airport. And it's pure chaos. I posted a picture of what O'Hare looked like a couple days ago. There's no line at O'Hare. You just walk into the terminal and stand there. You can't even get up to where you check in for your flight. You just stand in a spot for hours. It's awful. So Department of Homeland Security, because they're fully funded. Well, there's a government shutdown. So some parts of TSA are unfunded. Homeland Security and ICE, they are funded. And so they're at airports, but they're not doing anything. They're not helping. They're not helping to get passengers to their destinations. They're not providing, additional scanning. They're not doing any of that. They basically are standing around and observing the chaos. And you know what this is training for? for our elections. They are now being trained to be in polling locations. You please mark my words. Trump he's a bunch of things, but he ain't no dummy when he thinks he's going to lose. Something else I found out, I'm going to tell you this and I'm going to take a break. There is another fascist dictator named Viktor Orban. He is the dictator of Hungary, and him and Vladimir Putin are very close. Well, there's an election in Hungary that is coming up. It's either this week or it's next week, and Viktor Orban is not doing very well. He might lose this election, and that is troubling to Vladimir Putin because Vladimir Putin likes other fascist authoritarian dictators in his vicinity, you see. Okay? Russian intelligence came up with an idea to help Viktor Orban get elected, even though he is performing poorly amongst voters. He's doing badly in the polls, and he may very well lose this upcoming election. And you know what Russian intelligence came up with as far as a strategy? Because Russia is helping Viktor Orban get elected. You know what the strategy is? To fake an assassination attempt. I need you to think about this. If there is a candidate that is not performing well in the polls and they think this candidate may lose in the election, you fake an assassination attempt because then people turn away from like economic issues, joblessness, low wages, expensive healthcare, and they make the election an emotional issue. I wonder where that Russian strategy has been implemented before, where an assassination attempt was faked for a candidate that was fledgling in the polls, and then it turned the election into an emotional issue. I'm curious as to where has that ever happened before, where an assassination attempt has been faked to help a candidate? All I know is this. Okay? Ears don't grow back. They don't. Or they do real slowly.
He has top-notch health care.
No. And look, if a 223 hits that ear, ain't no ear left. My ears, I got 3 ear piercings. I only wear an earring in one ear. Because in the 90s, we were different. We wore earrings. Men wore earrings in each ear. I have not worn an earring in my right ear in probably 20 years. But the hole is still open. Trump gets shot with a 223 and his ear is brand new. It's shiny. It's like it never been touched. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Yesterday, my colleague Kyle Wallace on his show Truth to Power, which you can hear right here on 1017 The Truth from noon until 1, interviewed a candidate for the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. Her name is Maria Lazar. She is, in fact, the underdog, as Chris Taylor is performing much better in the polls per the latest Marquette University survey. Well, Kyle spoke with Maria Lazar. Now, she is, for all intents and purposes, a Trumper. Trumpers are dangerous, but they are deadly on the bench. So I wasn't able to listen to Kyle's interview. Yes, I told him I was going to be able to listen to it, but right when I got in the vehicle, I had a phone call I had to take. And by the time the phone call was over, I was already at home. So let me see here. Let me see. Hold on. Shut up, Sherwin. Stop playing your damn intro. Relax. Let's see what we got right here. Let me try this.
Coming up now in the Wisconsin State Supreme Court race is 2 weeks away. Make sure you get out to vote on Tuesday, April 7th. And to make sure that you are up to date and informed on everything you have to know about the election, I will be talking about the Wisconsin State Supreme Court election as I did last year. But in addition to that, I'm going to have both candidates on. And as I told you yesterday, I am so excited right now and fortunate to now be joined by Judge Maria Lazar, who is the Wisconsin Court of Appeals District 2 judge.
She looks like a Trumper.
Doing? And thank you so much for joining us here today on Truth to Power.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you can hear me.
No, we can. We can hear you fine and well. And again, thank you for joining us here today to talk to our audience and, talk about why we should, get out and vote for you. And I just want to get right into it, Judge. Can you share your credentials with the Truth listeners here and explain why you believe you are the best candidate in this race?
Yes. So my credentials start with I was born and raised in Wisconsin, but I went to Georgetown Law School. I came back and I worked for 20 years in a private practice, small law firm in Milwaukee. We had 4 attorneys. And then I worked for 5 years for the Department of Justice. But key to this race is that I've spent 7 years on the circuit court in Waukesha County in every rotation but family. I worked in civil, criminal, juvenile, mental commitments, drug treatment court.
What else she got to
she's
say?
an advocate.
Outsmart the market.
Oh, no.
With Base 44
YouTube ads.
Set up in seconds and ready to go.
And an activist. Judges are not advocates. We are not activists. We solely look at the law. We do not care who's in front of us. We are literally blindfolded.
Oh, stop it. She's a Trumper. When I hear private practice, small law firm, and what did she say? She was appointed by somebody in the Department of Justice. Whose Department of Justice? Trump's? Let me give her another chance. I hope another ad doesn't play. Let me see. What does she say right here? What's Kyle saying?
Political ideology, because when we look at the donors list for both candidates in this race, it seems that each candidate is getting a lot of their dollars from people who may want to push a certain agenda that you mentioned. So how can you promise and guarantee that you're actually going to put the people's best interest in mind rather than those who help get you elected?
About to lie.
So, and actually, I love the name of your show, The Truth, because I think judges' jobs is to search for.
Did she just say
why voters can trust me is that I have never been a member of a party. I may have endorsements from either side. And what's key is to look at my track record.
No, I don't want to look at your track record. In fact, I'm annoyed something that I hate. You guys notice I don't really do a lot of interviews anymore. We'll ask a person a question. And if they don't know the answer, or if they don't have an answer, they will start with a compliment. And once I hear that, I know that I'm speaking to someone that is not confident enough in the subject matter at hand, and then you lose me as an interviewer. I'll say something like, hey, person sitting across from me, tell us your political philosophy and why people listening should vote for you. Wow, Sherwin, I love your show. I've already checked out. Or here's the best one. I'll ask them a question. Can you tell us about your position on Roe versus Wade? Wow, Sherwin, that's a really good question. I know it's a good question. I'm getting paid to ask questions. I don't know what it is about. What am I? Are you shocked? And that's not even all that good of a question. That's because they don't have an answer. They're worried. They're nervous. If you're going to sit down across from me, and very few people can do it. There's only a few. Dr. Fuller, he is one of them. Jason Field was always a great interview. Dora Drake is a fantastic interview. They just answer the question. And if you don't have an answer to the question, you know what you can say? It's perfectly okay to say, I don't have an answer to that right now, but I will get you one. Perfect. Wow, Sherwin. That sure was a good question. Where did you learn how to ask questions like that? This is why I can't do it. Now, at some point, they're going to tie my hands and they're going to make me have to interview some of these people. But I'm not ready to interview anybody because what are we doing, guys? What are we even talking about? You think I want to sit here and interview one of these 7 candidates for governor so they can tell us stuff we already know? So they can tell us about how terrible Donald Trump is and how he's ruining the economy and ruining the state of Wisconsin? We already know that. Please tell me what you plan to do. How are you going to work with the legislature? How are you going to work with Republicans? What is your program? What is your idea? What do you want to do for Milwaukee? How can you boost the economic vitality of this city and of this region? What are you going to do about transportation? What are you going to do about law enforcement? What are you going to do about public safety? What are you going to do? I don't want to. Oh, Sherwin, thank you for asking the question. Boy, I tell you what, I sure don't like that Donald Trump. I don't like him either. So now what? Well, when I'm governor, I'm going to continue to not like Trump. And I promise, if I'm elected your governor, I won't like Trump at all. Boo. That's how I feel. Thumbs down. Okay, well, why are you more qualified? I'm just going through a mock interview because this is why I don't do them, because if I can do a mock interview, then why am I wasting my time talking to them? And I know some of the Democratic candidates are listening, but please take heed, because when you come here, you come sit down with me. I pulls no punches. You got to be ready to go now. Hi, Democratic candidate for governor. Can you tell us what differentiates you from the other 6 Democrats that are running for the nomination? Well, nothing. I love all of the people that are in this race. All of them are very smart. Some are sexy. They're all very qualified. I love them all so very much. Get out of my studio. Get out. I don't want to hear that. Because if it was the other party, if there was a 6 or 7 way Republican primary, and I interviewed one of those candidates, and I would say, hey, Republican person, which is a very unlikely scenario sitting across from me, what makes you different from the other Republicans that are running in this race? This one's fat, this one's stupid, this one has an ugly wife, this one's kids can't read. That's what I want to hear. I don't know. I love everybody in the race so much. Voters, you can't go wrong with any of us. Yes, we can, actually. And they're not doing any of that. Now, I've been told that after the state Supreme Court race on Tuesday, April 7th, and by the way, early voting has already commenced. If you want to go and get your little ballot cast early, you can go ahead and do that if you want to. But I'm going to go vote on Election Day because I promise you there won't be a line. They say they're going to pick up the the steam a little bit and the pace after the state Supreme Court race. I don't necessarily subscribe to that because it's going to take Wisconsin voters more than the 5 months that we have until the election to get used to and understand the differentiation between the 7 candidates. So I think that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can have advertisements and outreach from the gubernatorial candidates at the same time you have a state Supreme Court race going on. But the problem is the Democrats and the Republicans are coinciding themselves in their agenda with the state Supreme Court race, which I'm not really a fan of. But anyways, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Hey, Truth Nation, it's your girl DT. You want to mark your calendar. Saturday, March 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Cream City and Milwaukee chapters of the Links Incorporated present the Black Family Wellness Expo at Evolve Church. Free health screenings, mental health resources, nutrition and wellness education, family-friendly activities, trusted community providers, no cost, walk-ins are welcome. Let's strengthen and sustain healthy Black families together. March 28th, Evolve Church. Be there.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
Redlining happened here. Some neighborhoods are still left behind. When decisions are made about our blocks, our homes, and our families, we deserve to be heard. The Milwaukee County Office of Equity and Empower invites you to help us tell the story of wealth by taking a short survey online. What do you need to build wealth for your family, business, or neighborhood? Take the survey and be entered in to win concert tickets, cash prizes, and more. Take the survey now through the end of March at mkestoryofwealth.com. That's mkestoryofwealth.com.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
God, this song sucks. That's terrible. The results show little change from February 25th when 65% of Democratic voters and 63% Republican voters said they were still undecided. Amongst Democrats, State Representative Francesca Hong again leads the field at 14% of voters surveyed picking her as their preferred candidate. Following Hong is former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes at 11%. The rest of the field received 3 percentage points or less. Quote, this race isn't developing at this point, says Charles Franklin. He's the pollster. On the Republican side, 50% have no opinion of Tiffany. Among those who do have an opinion, 26% of voters view him favorably, 24% view him unfavorably. It doesn't matter because the Republican voters in this state are going to vote for him. And he has no primary opponent. Among Democrats, Barnes has the most name ID with 43% of voters lacking an opinion. 31% of voters view him unfavorably compared to 25% with a favorable view. Hong is still unknown by 75% of voters and is viewed favorably by 15%, unfavorably by 15%, and favorably by 13%. She is besting Mandela, and she just represents one assembly district in the city of Madison. Very, very liberal. So we asked the question on our YouTube poll because I have an inquisitive temperament and I want to know how y'all feel about things. Y'all are a bunch of commies. Would you vote for a Democratic Socialist, yes or no? 62% of you say yes. What has gotten into you lefties? What was the question? Didn't we asked a question yesterday about, Xavier, what was the question that we asked where you were, was it the death penalty question? There was a question where you were shocked. You asked me the demographics of the show because how people responded to that question. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, reinstating the death penalty.
Is that what it was? And the majority of the people said yes, right?
A lot of them did.
Because
I think it was like 57%.
Because wanting the death penalty and then voting for a Democratic Socialist, them don't mix. Democratic Socialists want to let people out of jail because jail is inhumane. We should not have prisons anymore, and they should just all go work in organic gardens to learn their lesson. 62% of y'all, well, those who participate in this YouTube poll and who listen to this show, but I didn't think y'all were a bunch of commies, a bunch of Vladimir Putins. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez is the only Democrat without a net negative approval rating. Hers is at 0. But 68% of voters don't know enough about the current lieutenant governor to have an opinion. That is a referendum. Because here's the thing. When Mandela was lieutenant governor, you knew what he was doing. Now, he was mostly in the news for bad stuff. Y'all remember when Mandela went to a nightclub in Chicago and had Wisconsin state troopers provide his security detail, which is insane. Mandela spent more money because he just wanted to walk in the club and look cool. But that's what happens when you elect a lieutenant governor that's in their 30s that's still hanging out in the club. He spent more money on security than the previous lieutenant governor spent in either 4 or 8 years, and that was Rebecca Clayfish. I know y'all got to remember that when Mandela went to a nightclub in Chicago, he walked in with Wisconsin state troopers. Nobody even knows who you are. Why do you need security? What, is there an assassination attempt in a Chicago nightclub? Lieutenant governors are they don't even have a job description. They just chill and wait to be elected governor. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
Been listening to you guys for probably a month. It's some change now, and this is one of my favorite radio shows. And I'm 24, so I used to think talk shows was like an old head thing, and y'all got me hooked.
Welcome to Truth Nation. We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
A message from Tia Mori, actress and Fair Celebrity Ambassador.
Game day isn't staged, it's lived. It's the shopping, the cooking, the laughter. For families managing food allergy, that same spirit of preparation means everything. Because food allergy isn't a lifestyle. It's a serious, life-threatening disease that can change everything in a moment. But being ready changes the story. It's knowing the signs, having a plan, and carrying epinephrine everywhere life takes you. Epinephrine is the only treatment that can stop a severe food allergy reaction known as anaphylaxis. It works quickly to reverse the symptoms and can save lives. As families and friends gather for the big game, we see what community looks like. It's one built on awareness, care, and love in action. Because readiness doesn't take away the risk. It brings back the joy. When you're ready to act, you're ready to live.
Visit foodallergy.org/ready to act to learn more.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Breaking news, weather, entertainment, and sports. We have it all here. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Because that's my name, and I host this show Monday through Friday. 9 a.m. until noon, we're live. We play replays on the weekends and then starting again at 9 p.m. So if you ever miss a show, well, there's no excuse. You can listen to it again. I went to go see the off-Broadway production of The Wiz last night. Spectacular show. Great song and dance, costumes, lighting. It ain't like the movie, the original movie with Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. Very tough act to follow, but the production at the Marcus Center was fantastic. And guess who I was sitting next to last night? Homer Blow. I was there with my wife. That's who I was.
Homer Blow's your wife?
I was there with no. Me and my wife went to go see The Wiz, and Homer Blow was with his wife.
Oh, okay.
Which is a different lady. I wouldn't marry Homer because I'm not gay. I mean, I'm sure if someone is gay, Homer would be great. Well, he's not gay either, so I guess they'd be out of luck. Why are we talking about this? Why don't you bring that up? 5 months before the August primary election, Wisconsin voters are barely tuned into the upcoming race for governor. A new Marquette University Law School poll released yesterday shows the majority of Wisconsin voters are still undecided on their preferred candidate for governor. 65% of registered voters say they are undecided on which of the 7 Democratic candidates for governor would earn their vote, while 54% said they were undecided in the Republican primary race, which is only one person, U.S. Representative Tom Tiffany. The results show little change from the February 25th Marquette University Law School poll, when 65% of Democratic voters and 63% of Republican voters said they were undecided. Among Democrats, State Representative Francesca Hong again, leads the field at 14%. So she has a website, which I checked out yesterday. You can buy T-shirts. And she's got a T-shirt for women. It says Hotties for Hong. I'm a hottie. Can I not? If I was a candidate, I'd have all sorts of merch. Hotties for Hughes. Honeys for Hughes. Hoes for Hughes. That one. That would be a top seller.
You think they would like that, huh?
They would. I'm a hoe for Hughes. And it'd be mostly men probably wearing the shirt. Among Democrats, State Representative Francesca Hong again leads the field at 14% of voters surveyed, picking her as their preferred candidate. Following Hong is former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes at 11%. The rest of the field received 3 percentage points or less. Quote, "This race just isn't developing at this point," said Charles Franklin, the pollster. On the Republican side, 50% have no opinion of Tiffany. Among those who do have an opinion, 26% of voters view him favorably, 24% unfavorably. Among Democrats, Barnes has the most name ID with 43% lacking in opinion. 31% of voters view him unfavorably compared to 25% with a favorable view. Hong is still unknown by 75% of Wisconsin voters and is viewed unfavorably by 15% and favorably by 13%. Hang on a second. So her unfavorables, Francesca Hong, Hotties for Hong. 15% unfavorably, 31% view Mandela unfavorably. That has to bother him because his unfavorables are double hers. Now, granted, 75% of the people in the state don't know who she is, but she has time to make that up, it seems. I think she's going to get the nomination, and we're going to have to talk about this. And according to how you all voted in the YouTube poll, let me go check the results and just see. Yeah, y'all are still a bunch of commies. Would you vote for a Democratic Socialist? 61% say yes, 39% say no, with 67 votes cast. Okay. The pollsters were in the field between March 11th and March 18th. They surveyed 850 registered voters with a margin of error of plus or minus 4.4 percentage points. This is a terrible poll. I've done better polls than this. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez is the only Democrat with a net negative approval rating. The only Democrat without a net negative approval rating. Hers is at 0. But 68% of voters don't know enough about her to have an opinion. Inflation drew the highest level of concerns amongst voters, with 93% saying they are very or somewhat concerned about it. Following inflation were health insurance, jobs and the economy, housing affordability, and public schools. Do I have the meat and potatoes? I do. Let's look at this state Supreme Court race. Question: do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of state Supreme Court candidate Chris Taylor? 20% favorable, 15% unfavorable, 64% have not heard enough. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of candidate for Wisconsin State Supreme Court Maria Lazar, who my colleague Kyle Wallace interviewed yesterday? 13% favorable, 18% unfavorable, 68% have not heard enough. How's the party doing? Actually, you know what? The Make America Great Again movement, I'm taking questions directly from the Marquette University Law School poll. The Make America Great Again MAGA movement, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of the Make America Great Again movement? 38% say favorable. That's too high. Now, 56% say unfavorable, but then 6% haven't heard enough about MAGA to have an opinion. Okay, I hope the Democrats are doing better. So here we go. Please keep this number in mind, ladies and gentlemen. 38% of surveyed Wisconsin voters have a favorable opinion of MAGA. The Democratic Party. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of the Democratic Party, or you haven't heard enough about them yet? This is a question on the Marquette University Law School poll. Remember, MAGA has a 38% approval rating, which isn't high, but it's considerably less than zero. The Democrats have a favorability rating of 35%. I just need a moment. How is MAGA? So the landslide that some people are expecting for the Democrats in Wisconsin has not yet materialized. Doesn't mean that it won't. But as we stand right now, and when this survey was taken, Trump had put us in war. Okay, so while this is going on, the survey is going on, we're sending people and troops and bombs and missiles over to the Middle East. Okay, gas prices are going up too. MAGA has a higher approval rating than the Democratic Party. What? Honestly, let me just ask this question, because I don't know. What do the Democrats need to do? Like, honestly, give people money? Like, what do you want? We got a state government surplus. Y'all want some checks? What do you need? What do you need these Democratic candidates for governor to, I don't know, $500 for individuals, $1,000 for families, give you some of the surplus back? Like, what do they need to do? The Democratic Party, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of the Democratic Party, or you haven't heard enough? Favorable, 35%, 58% unfavorable. And, of course, that same 6% haven't heard enough about the Democratic Party to form an opinion. The Republican, oh, my God, it's getting worse. The Republican Party, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of the Republican Party, or you haven't heard enough about the Republican Party to form an opinion? 42% favorable. Democrats are 35% favorable. The Republicans have a favorability rating of 7 points higher than the Democrats. Now, the Republicans have a 52% unfavorable, but the Democrats got a 58% unfavorable. Again, what do the Democrats have to do? Trump has taken us to war. He's an authoritarian. Gas prices are gone up. We're in a war. He's just snatching people off of the streets. I just heard an NPR story because when I'm in the shower, I got a radio in the shower. That's when I listen to NPR. And when I take showers at night, that's when they broadcast the BBC. It's very interesting. So I was listening to the story where an American citizen, he was granted, it's not citizenship, but he fought with America, like he helped America in Afghanistan, so they gave him like special privileges because he helped American soldiers. And so he has been over here in America for 20 years. He's got a whole wife. He's got a family. He's got kids. His kids are American citizens. Now, remember, he's an Iraq-Afghanistan war veteran, but he is an Afghan national, but was given like permanent resident status because he helped the American troops and like saved Americans' lives in Afghanistan. ICE snatched him up and he died in their custody, and they still have not given the results of the autopsy. And there are hundreds of examples of people being apprehended that have citizenship or have a right to be here that have been injured or have been killed in ICE custody, and there's only one political party responsible for that. And that political party has a higher favorability rating than the Democrats. I don't know what the Democrats need to do. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. God, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of ICE, or you haven't heard enough about them yet? ICE has a higher favorability rating in the state of Wisconsin than the Democrats do. ICE favorability rating is 40%, unfavorable 55%. 5% haven't heard enough about ICE. Who are these people? And why are they even in this survey? Oh, ICE, what is that? Is that what I use to keep my drinks cold? I don't believe I've heard enough about them to form an opinion. What's some other good stuff from this poll? We already did Mandela Barnes, Joel Brennan, David Crowley. 9% favorable, 14% unfavorable, 76% have not heard enough about David Crowley to form an opinion. Francesca Hong, favorable 13%, unfavorable 15%, 72% have not heard enough about her to form an opinion. You'd think that this woman, Missy Hughes, no relation. I always get a little weary when I find a white person that has the same last name as me, I'm like, well, there's no intermarriage in our family, so we can rule that out. How far back do we need to go before we find out the commonality of my last name with a white person's last name? Get to Slade. There it is. I was waiting on that. How rude. Missy Hughes, no relation. Do you have a favorable, she's a Democratic candidate for governor, by the way. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Missy Hughes, or you haven't heard enough about them yet? 5% favorable, 11% unfavorable, 83% have not heard enough about Missy Hughes, my namesake, to form an opinion. And this is somebody who I don't know. Brett Holsey. I don't know who dude is. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Brett Holsey, or you haven't heard enough about them yet? 4% favorable, 13% unfavorable, 83% have not heard enough about Brett Holsey. Let me see. Brett Holsey is at 4%, and County Executive David Crowley is at 9%. David's a great guy. It'd be great if he was the governor, but he's got some work to do. Current Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, or you haven't heard enough about her yet? 16% favorable, 16% unfavorable, so she nets 0. 68% haven't heard enough about the Lieutenant Governor to form an opinion. And who is this? Who is Zachary Roper? He's in the race too? Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Zachary Roper, or you haven't heard enough about them yet? 3% favorable, 11% unfavorable, 85% haven't heard enough of Zachary Roper. I think it's just random people just throwing their hat in the ring to be governor of Wisconsin. Where do I poll at? I probably poll at like 99% favorable, 0% unfavorable, and 1% hasn't heard enough about me to form an opinion.
Let's get you in the race.
I think it's too late. I could be a write-in. Y'all want to write me in for governor? I'd be a good governor. I'd be real good.
Maybe in the primary, not the general.
Well, that's the thing. I would, because people are favoring the Democratic Socialist in the primary. I would have to run as an independent so that it would be 3 choices on the ballot. It would be the Democratic candidate, the Republican candidate, which is Tom Tiffany, and then me as an independent. I'd be a real good governor. And I guess I'd win by a lot. And people would be real mad, and the Republicans would want a recall. I'm like, you can recount them. I won. And I get sworn in, and I probably have a party at a nightclub.
What's your first act?
Making sure cops aren't fat. Have a physical fitness requirement for municipal police officers in the state. I would equalize funding for children to be educated. I would stop relying on property tax dollars to fund our schools. I would look into our options in creating more affordable housing, not necessarily low income, but affordable housing. And I would look at how we can expand Badger Care to cover all Wisconsinites that want it as an alternative to the Affordable Care Act or your private employer's insurance. I would invest in infrastructure. We got to get the lead pipes removed. We have to. Got to make sure that the people in the small towns and the little itty-bitty villages and the hamlets all have access to broadband internet. I don't know. Invest in the UW system. Make sure we have adequate resources for education and, you know. Oh, and I would build data centers everywhere. Waukesha would be one big data center. And if you don't like it, I will data center your house. I'll use eminent domain. Sorry, Waukesha, what you want me to do? Waukesha wouldn't be voting for me anyway. So Waukesha, Washington County, Dodge County, Calumet, Pepin County, Wausau, Marathon County would just be data center. And I would invite all the AI people. Come on, come get some Wisconsin land. Come data center us up. And I make sure they hired a lot of people from Milwaukee to be construction workers. We would just build. It would just be Milwaukee, Madison. I leave Green Bay and the Green Bay Packers alone. Actually, no, I'd put a data center right outside Lambeau. Just so you know I mean business. But, oh, yeah, Door County, I'd leave that alone, too, because it's pretty up there. I love me some Door County. It's romantic. It's sexy. You ever been to Door County? Door County will make a man ovulate. It's sexy up there. Go up to Door County, fellas, you'll get your period. You know what I mean? It's very... I like to leave Door County alone, but everywhere else... Because that land isn't doing anything. At least if you put a data center on that farmland, that vacant land, it'd be collecting revenue. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's like for every 100,000 square foot of data center space, it's only one employee. It's really bad for job creation. The construction part is good for jobs, but that's why I would have to keep authorizing more data centers to be built. I call Elon on the phone. I'll be like, dog, chill out with that racism stuff, dude. I'm not really too fond of you either, but I need you to build some data centers. Oh, Sherwin, oh, shut up and build a data center, you weirdo, you freak. He's got 14 kids or something. And some of the kids don't even have real names. The kids' names are letters and numbers. That's a weirdo. I won't even enjoy the conversation with him. Like, dude, just build the data center. Because he's South African. They sound weird.
He's probably monitoring you.
And I don't give it. He probably is. He probably can turn my car off at any second.
Exactly.
I love that Tesla, though. I love it. When I'm in it, I'm just like, this is where I need to be.
What's your favorite part about it?
Self-driving. Because I can just check my email, just rest, just fold my arms and chill. And it's got all these voice commands. I can say stuff like, my feet are cold. And it'll turn up the temperature on my feet. Turn on the heated seats. You just can tell what song to play, what album to play. It's just so good. It can drive me home when I'm lost.
You can get a Cybertruck?
Those are gross. I hate Cybertrucks. Are just so yucky. And plus, it wouldn't fit in my garage. It's unnecessarily big. I have arguably the most beautiful Tesla that they make. Because some are stupid looking. Some Teslas are, my Tesla is it's voluptuous. It's got wide hips.
Sounds Trumpian.
That's all right. It can sound Trumpian while it's driving me to work every day. And then it's got this summon feature. I freaked my family out with this, so we all went out to eat, and we took separate vehicles. And I have this app, and if I push a button and if I hold it, the vehicle drives itself to me. So I was at the front door of the restaurant. They're like, Sherwin, why are you standing here at the front door? Why aren't you walking your car? I said, look over there, Mama. She said, huh? And my vehicle was driving. He said, how come ain't nobody in your vehicle? I said, 'cause Tesla. She said, oh. And my brother just rolled his eyes because he just doesn't care about much. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk to Al on the other side.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Where's that same devastation? Where's that same anger? Where's that same hurt for other American citizens who lost their lives to guns? When we talk about the loss of life here in America, if all lives matter, y'all got to start acting like all lives matter. I feel bad for any loss of life because it's not fair and it's not right for anybody to take somebody's life. That's not what we're put on this earth to do. I hate the fact that in this country that we live in, that violence is so rampant. Violence is the norm.
Download the new 1017 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 The Truth.
As the White House threatens to take over state elections, restrict abortion nationwide, and take away our health care, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is the last line of defense for our rights. That's why the Supreme Court election on April 7th is so critical. The ACLU does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to make an informed decision. When it comes to abortion rights, Maria Lazar supported overturning Roe v. Wade and is endorsed by groups that want to ban abortion. Chris Taylor voted against abortion bans and defended abortion rights while working with Planned Parenthood. And on the issue of voting rights in Wisconsin, Maria Lazar defended efforts to rig elections for one political party through extreme gerrymandering of congressional and legislative districts. Chris Taylor opposes rigging the system with extreme partisan gerrymandering. On April 7th, Stand Up for Our Rights. Paid for by American Civil Liberties Union, Incorporated.
The legendary Broadway show is back. The Wiz. The Chicago Sun-Times raves. It's an eye-popping, high-intensity revival. The music, the voices, the legend returns. Entertainment Weekly says, run, don't ease on down to this spectacular revival. The Wiz. Playing the Marcus Center, March 24th through 29th. Tickets at marcuscenter.org.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flysshf.org and ask for an application.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sticky sweet, where does this go? Your touch is velvet, your voice a key, unlocking every piece of me. Sugar, honey, iced tea.
Al, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know you were talking about Door County. Now, don't forget Sister Bay, where they got the Green Bay players, and then you got Fish Creek, because there's a lot of old money up there, too.
And Egg Harbor? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know they had an island up there for sale at one time, too, for a couple of million. That'd be another place for a data center. But, I was going to ask you about the Republicans. I'm surprised they ain't really said too much about all these forced pregnancies at the detention centers. Now, you think they're quiet because it's in their court, Shaw? Because they talk about illegals, but then these same people that's taking these illegals is pushing their nut inside them. And what I don't understand, how can you force me? How you gonna force me and I'm illegal and you gonna nut inside me forcibly? I thought it's supposed to be in America first, but I forgot. That is American for them Republicans, because they love that raping, because it's by any means necessary. See, you won't ask me and finesse me, but you gonna rape me and blame me, So I think that's why a lot of them are so quiet, and I think they get a mental stimulation from that. Because think about all this stuff that happened. Little boys, they're getting their booty bopped, little girls being exploited. And you got these pastors, these LGBTs, they're going off all this stuff. And the people they talking to, and the people raising all the hell is the one doing all the raping and taking. You don't hear none of them diehard Republicans say anything about that. But you know what else I thought about? I figured this out yesterday. The reason why they probably ain't saying nothing, because they probably used to see their daddy walk around the house in them tidy whities with that hard on, and it probably did something to them mentally, and now they all effed up in the head. Because I thought about that, and I'm just like, well, don't nobody want to breed your seed, but you continue to push your nut in somebody, whether it's a girl or a little boy. But then when everything hit the fan, everybody, blah, 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 blah. Everybody is quiet like they got monkey glue on their face. And then my other thing I was going to tell you with the black ICE agents. How you gonna have your black ass up in TSA? You don't got no mask on. Your whole face is revealed. You're a sitting duck. But he made sure his white people had their secrecy and their face was covered. It looked like a whole setup. And these black people just standing there, just looking all uncomfortable. It's like you're putting on a brand new dress, but you know it's putting on a brand new dress, but you know your bra is dirty and you got stains in your panties. You know what I mean? I seen that one time. Some girl left her panties out. My dog was running around with it in her mouth, and I snatched at my dumb things. I would look at dirty. Like dirty is good year times. I had to stop the hell out of my dog because I don't want him coming down with no oral thrash or no throat infection. But my other thing I was going to ask of you.
Oh, yeah, please.
Why is it every time it comes to a Section 8, they always put a black woman rejoicing, showing her pearly whites?
Because that makes black women happy when they can get low-income housing. Al, the black women that don't have a lot of money, they got to live somewhere now. I saw the videos you posted where you didn't like the low-income housing. Why you got a problem with low-income housing?
Well, you know, because they feel that's all black women is good for. Why you won't put that white woman on there with a stringy hair, with her husband, with a mullet, with a 2000 extended cab Chevy Sierra with a dent in the fender, and he holding that Marlboro cigarette with them dirty Wrangler jeans, with them dirty cowboy boots? Why you won't show them? Or show them outside with a shopping cart that they turned into a goddamn grill, or they took a file cabinet and made it a stove. And I feel like the reason why they're doing that because they really don't want to do nothing for black people. They want them to stay mentally stuck. So when you say affordable housing, it sounds a little better, but you know every affordable house, you always can tell affordable housing because the blinds is always effed up and the garbage is always effed up. But I would like to see, and I don't got nothing against you white women because I think y'all cool with me, and I don't got nothing against you white men, but stop putting them in a separate express. Y'all already got them walking around here looking like Skeletor with a V-cut with dirty panties on and one of her breasts is hanging out because she done walked off the other side of her bra with that matted hair. Put them in a separate express with their son named Joey and her daughter named Savannah because she ain't going to have no walls by the time she's 15 because her daddy took them away when she was 10. Put them in the cover of the Shepherd Express.
All right.
Happy about that. Yeah. Or put a trailer over there with a 2000 Chevy C10 with a dent in the windshield or something. Stop using us as an example. But anyway, you know, have yourself a good day and buy you a Draco, okay? Because you is pushing that Tesla. So you might have to come out like Rambo and make a couple people urinate and boo-boo on themselves, okay? Yeah. All right, you have yourself a good day. Okay, bye-bye.
Jeez Louise.
What happened?
Hate it.
What do you want me to do, you guys? Like, what am I? So I can't. Those are his opinions. A lot of dirty panties. He said he had to slap his dog because he didn't want his dog to get a oral thrash. The Republicans have a higher favorability rating in Wisconsin than the Democrats do, so there's that. I'm looking at the YouTube chat. What are you all laughing at? I didn't laugh during that. I'm glad you all find this amusing. I don't find it particularly funny. Okay, I'm going to take a commercial break. I'm going to recombobulate, and we're going to come back. And I don't know, maybe I'll read some text messages at 833-212-1017. We'll take caller number 7. I mean, you're not going to win anything, but if you just want to be caller number 7, if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. We'll take caller number 7 at 833-212-1017. Like, you're not getting anything. Okay? 0. It's no contest. There's no money. There's no Gruber, but if you want to be caller number 7, just, I don't know, for the hell of it, you're fine to be able to do that. Again, you're not getting anything. I mean, you're going to get me, but nothing. Oh, look, they're calling.
They're actually calling.
Okay. Call number 7 at 833-212-1017. Call number 7 at 833-212-1017, and nothing is going to happen. Okay? I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Eric Zauner, Marine Corps veteran and board member for the Center for Veterans Issues, calling on the community to tee it up for a great cause. On Monday, June 15th, CVI is hosting its 5th annual golf outing at the River Club in Mequon. This year's event is supporting CVI's Permanent Supportive Housing Program, dedicated to assisting chronically homeless or disabled veterans and their families. Grab your clubs and support our veterans today. Register to golf, sponsor, or donate at cvivet.org/events.
Thank you, Milwaukee. Because of you, the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards was an unforgettable celebration of the leaders, changemakers, and heroes who make our city shine. A special thank you to our incredible partners, Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation, Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Cousins Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. And thank you to our presenting sponsor, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Together, we're celebrating community, culture, and impact. We'll see you next year at the Truth Community Awards.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're the spell that's got me. Sugar, honey, iced tea.
Hey, Jermaine, you're calling number 7. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
All right, then.
Yeah.
All right, then. So that didn't really amount to anything. But I said you're not gonna win anything. So we also had another call, number 7, but apparently they didn't want to stay on the line.
What happened to that guy, Israel?
Don't bring him up. I saw him. I was somewhere. He'll pop up every now and again. Any high-profile public event. He was at the, there was a candidates forum. The Democratic candidates had a candidates forum at the Cooperage, probably in January. He was there, and he made sure that I saw him, but I'd just avoid him.
What'd he do?
Yeah, I mean, what did he do?
He's the only person I ever heard of getting shot by the cops and surviving.
Threw a brake rotor at the cops. I did a reaction video to that.
I was here. It was amazing.
He didn't like it. I saw him a couple of times after I made the reaction video. And he used to call our shows. I think we have him blocked on because he had so many different like screen names and handles on YouTube. We have a whole bunch of his screen names blocked. I think he just gave up after a while. He found something else to do. Or because I know he had a pending court date for some stuff, he might be locked up. I hope he gets the help that he needs, you know what I mean? Oh, I guess he called Dr. Ken yesterday, so wherever he is, he still has phone privileges. Okay. Stacy texted in and said, Al is hilarious. Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face emoji. I can't even pronounce this name. Arnulfo says Trump is a reptile. He grew his ear back. Marquis says, also, did you know individuals up to 42 with or without prior military service can enlist in the regular Army, the National Guard, and the Army Reserves according to the updated Army Registration 601-210 published on March 20th? I did not know that. Well, guess what? You're all about to get drafted. Not me. I'm too old. Too fat. Feet are flat, too.
You know, I've kind of come around to your view on the draft being reinstated.
It will be. Yeah, I'll answer this. Don't even worry about it. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, Sherwin, how you doing, man? It's Dion.
Oh, what's up, Dion?
Man, I wish I would have seen you at the play last night. I seen Kyle. I chopped it up with him because, I won the tickets on the Dr. Ken show.
Oh, I didn't know we did a ticket giveaway for the Wiz. I didn't do a ticket giveaway, did I? No, I don't think so.
I was there last night. I seen Kyle, and I was just calling about the Wiz. I just wanted to make a comment on it. That's all.
Where were you sitting? Did you have good seats?
I was sitting, what they call it, the orchestra seat. I was sitting down there by the stage, row R. And somebody, I guess, they didn't hold seats one field because, I'm a big guy. I sat on the end, but my tickets were 38 and 39. And I didn't want to be squeezing between people, though. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
So,
yeah.
Thank God. I didn't I didn't want to be squeezing between people, but
yeah, don't do that.
You know what? Like I was telling Kyle last night, I enjoyed the play, but I didn't like the people that was there.
Calvin
the white
Lee?
people.
Is that what Cal are we talking about? Calvin Lee?
No, Kyle.
Kyle. I don't know who the hell you're talking about. Cal.
Yeah.
K-Y-L-E.
Kyle. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was telling him that I enjoyed the play, but I didn't like the white people there because we could dance and entertain them, but when it comes down to social problems, they shh. Because, you seen all the white people that was up in the audience.
You know what, Deon,
I'm saying?
I wasn't going to say anything about that, but when I was there last night, because that performance is black-centered. And a lot of the white folks didn't even know what they were seeing, what they were hearing. There's a lot of dialogue that is specifically black, and it was way too many. Yeah. It was the wrong kind of white folks. It was like old white people.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And then I noticed they had the black Afro pick up there. Then they had the little braids up in the back. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we gotta come talk to them. We can't be direct. We got to basically do subliminal messages. Like when our girl was like, the only thing I'm going to do is stay black and proud. And all the black people was cut.
She said, I'm going to stay black and die. And when the white people laughed, I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all shouldn't be laughing at that. I agree with you.
Yeah. But that's all I wanted to call and say, man. You know what I'm saying? I sure would have gave you a hug when I seen you, like, I'm thinking, Sherwin, because I ain't seen you in a minute, though. You know what I'm saying? But I seen Kyle there, and me and him chopped it up for about 15, 20 minutes. He was there with his lady and stuff. I didn't have nobody to take because initially I was going to give him to my ex-girl, but she had a medical emergency, so I came by myself. So I had one ticket. It was kind of a waste, and I couldn't redeem it for no cash value. But I still enjoyed myself regardless of the fact, and I don't regret coming. So thank you, 101.7 The Truth, and I'll talk to you later, Sherwin. Right. I'm at work. I work for the school. They'll catch me out here and fire me.
Oh, okay. Don't.
All right, bye.
Okay, don't get fired. You also don't have to hug me every time you see me, Dion, because he sweats a lot. He sweats when it's cold out, so I don't need.
I'm not a hugger.
I am, but it has to be a reason. You know what I mean? If I'm like close to you, then Yes, but don't.
Well, the listeners have a parasocial relationship with you.
Good word, parasocial. All right. Hey, Truth Nation, it's that time of year. Time for the Tory Low Community Cleanup presented by Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. until noon as we will be cleaning up the city of Milwaukee. Make sure you meet us at either Evolve Church, Pitts Mortuary, and or MLK Elementary School. Again, that is the Tory Low Community Cleanup on Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. until noon. Bring the whole family to clean up our city. Sign up at torylowcleanup.com. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, and Waste Management. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
As the White House threatens to take over state elections, restrict abortion nationwide, and take away our health care, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is the last line of defense for our rights. That's why the Supreme Court election on April 7th is so critical. The ACLU does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to make an informed decision. When it comes to abortion rights, Maria Lazar supported overturning Roe v. Wade and is endorsed by groups that want to ban abortion. Chris Taylor voted against abortion bans and defended abortion rights while working with Planned Parenthood. And on the issue of voting rights in Wisconsin, Maria Lazar defended efforts to rig elections for one political party through extreme gerrymandering of congressional and legislative districts. Chris Taylor opposes rigging the system with extreme partisan gerrymandering. On April 7th, stand up for our rights. Paid for by American Civil Liberties Union, Incorporated.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with two. It's buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land a perfect two-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. Second floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout March at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to help. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, build a budget, improve your credit, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners in our area, and many are paying a lot less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your bright future. Start your journey at axhousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home. And, ladies and gentlemen, Thanalysis Live, one of the biggest nights in Wisconsin sports, and we don't want anyone to miss out. If you buy one ticket, ESPN Wisconsin will buy the other. Be there for the night that will have everybody talking on March 27th. Thanalysis Live is a completely unpredictable show with Thanasis Antetokounmpo and surprise guests. Were you there when Stephen A. Smith joined or when Bobby Portis brought down the house? Where were you sitting when Giannis walked on stage? Thanalysis Live is a can't miss. TALiveshow.com is where you get your tickets and enter the code ESPNWIBOGO. That's ESPNWIBOGO when you check out. March 27th at the Riverside Theater. Don't miss it. I saw a commercial with Bobby Portis, and I don't even know what Bobby was doing in the commercial. I don't know what he was selling, but some people you can't put in commercials.
What happened?
What? I'm Bobby Portis. Because that's why. I don't even know. I think it might have been for like Hunger Task Force, and he was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Hey, everybody, look. It's Bobby Portis. Hello. I'm Bobby Portis. I got the ball. Sometimes I shoot it. I am Bobby Portis. Shout out to Bobby. I think he needs to get more playing time. Giannis ain't played all season. Giannis get a hangnail and they sit him for 3 games. I swear.
Value up.
Say it again, X.
They're trying to keep the trade value up.
He's broken. I swear it was a couple games Giannis didn't play because he didn't get a haircut. I cannot play. I don't not get my hair. It's no cutting. It's no cut. I cannot play the ball. I cannot. We called the show today Fat Cop, Socialism, and Immorality. Oh, I didn't get to the, I got to do that tomorrow. There's a survey where the Pew Research Center, which is dramatically more reputable than Marquette University. Let me not say bad stuff. I got to stop it. That's not nice. I said some things about Marquette, and some of y'all got mad. I also said some things about Mexicans not too long ago. Y'all didn't like that either. I just said, when it comes to Marquette, and this is a Sherwin thing, this doesn't apply to you. The weird thing about the times that we live in, and there are a lot of weird things about the times that we live in, people want agreement with everything. If they hear somebody that disagrees with them, they get like angry. They get mad because if somebody has a different opinion, like, oh no, we have to cancel you because you think differently than I. You guys know how I feel about Marquette. The same way I feel about Racine. Don't need them. I've never met a smart person that went to school at Marquette. I'm not saying there aren't any. I just don't know any. I don't know any. Like, oh, wow, this huge scientific discovery, this new innovation. Where do they go to school? Not Marquette. Every so often they'll have a good basketball team. But other than that, I don't know. And it's really expensive, too. Kyle Wallace used to work there. Used to work at Marquette. He don't work there no more, though. So, and I don't think he even went to school at Marquette. He just worked there. So he's not. He's a smart guy, which means he didn't go to school at Marquette. But let me not make anybody mad. These are just my opinions. Y'all have to be able to coexist with people who have different opinions than you. I'm going to preview this story. I really want to talk about it tomorrow because I think it makes for good commentary. It says, across a wide range of issues, Americans express morally permissive views. Nearly all U.S. adults at 96% say that eating meat is morally acceptable. That's stupid. And 91% take similar positions on using contraceptives to prevent pregnancy. 90% of you think that married people having an affair is morally wrong, meaning 10% of you think that it's perfectly okay. 52% believe that viewing pornography is morally wrong. Why? If you're an adult, why can't you? How else do you learn how to do it? I really would like to talk about that tomorrow, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. I think I might start the show barring the fact Trump doesn't start World War III. I want to talk about some of these responses. 52% think that, are these Republicans? How is this broken down? I think it's Republicans. No, it's not. This is general public. They do break it down. What do the Republicans say about porn? Because I think they love it. 59% of Republicans think that homosexuality is wrong. 20% of Democrats say it's wrong. Viewing pornography. 65% of Republicans think that viewing porn is morally wrong. But Grindr crashed when the RNC was in town. So viewing porn, bad. Gay dating sites, ding. 39% of Democrats think that viewing pornography is morally wrong. 33% of Republicans think that getting a divorce is morally wrong. 13% of Democrats think that getting a divorce is morally wrong. On the other hand, Democrats are significantly more likely than Republicans to view each of the following as morally wrong. 48% of Democrats think that the death penalty is morally wrong, where only 20% of Republicans think the death penalty is morally wrong. That's not very pro-life of them, because you would think pro-life means you don't kill anybody. 35% of Democrats think that spanking children is morally wrong. 12% of Republicans think the same. You're not supposed to spank your kids. It screws them up. Cue the people that say, I was spanked and I'm okay. No, you're not. You're not. You haven't realized your full potential. You drink too much. You have trouble sleeping. You have bouts of depression. You probably got some ADHD and you're not productive at work. But you're okay. No, you're not. You're not supposed to spank kids. Democrats make me sick with this next one. Being extremely rich is morally wrong. What? So being poor is morally right? Well, then I know what column I want to be in. 7% of Republicans think that being extremely rich is morally wrong. If you come up with an idea, because a lot of people want to be business owners, what if you become successful? What if your business is a great one and people buy your products and your services and you get to hire people and you get to be an employer and you get to provide people health insurance and benefits and living wages and you make a lot of money doing that? You're immoral? They got to stop with that. When I went to the candidate forum, when the Democrats had a candidate forum a couple months ago, they all professed how much they hated billionaires. Like each candidate had to profess more than the next how much they hate a billionaire. For what? Because you're not one? Come on now. Stop raising your hand, Xavier, because if you was a billionaire, would what? Oh, no, I hate having all this money. I'd rather be broke. If you got $1 billion, I would not expect to see you here tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, because I'll be enriching all you guys. You would have like 10 million. Zach would have 10 million.
You wouldn't give me nothing. No, you wouldn't. And first of all, if you got $1 billion, why are you only coming off 10 million, Jack?
You can't give them all my money.
Exactly, because you're immoral. See, once people get rich, poor people are just mad at rich people because they're not rich. You know what homeless people are probably mad at people that have houses because homeless people are walking around like, oh, look at all these houses. I don't own any of these. Oh, I got to sleep somewhere that's not a house. People that walk are mad at people that have cars. People on a bus stop are mad at somebody that can take an Uber. No, it's morally wrong that you can drive a car. Oh, I hate you. You have a vehicle with climate control in it. Aw, I got to get on the number 27. Come on, y'all. There's also a large divide between partisan camps on whether Americans as a whole are morally good. At present, 54% of Republicans and Republican-leaning independents rate the morality and ethics of Americans as very or somewhat good. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow. Thank you for listening.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987